What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Box Out Boys podcast. We are the NBA podcast of the people, your home for lukewarm takes and substandard analysis. I'm Titus Two Shots Dominguez, and join me tonight, it's Chris Statsman Gorman. Hit him with the stats, Chris.
Hey. All right, guys. I don't have a stat. I have a fun fact is that I loved hearing it, and I need to say it on this podcast tonight. Karl Anthony Towns, he mentioned before entering games that he loves to get him hyped up before a game. I like to listen to Thunderstruck by AC/DC before I played football in high school. But it's a hype up song, right? Karl Anthony Towns likes to watch gorillas beat each other to the death on YouTube, which what I did before this podcast tonight is watch two gorillas beat each other to the death at the zoo on YouTube. It's widely available and kind of fun. It's crazy. And it's kind of like I get
hashtag Harambe.
I get it. I get why Towns. I get it.
Well,
but yeah, and he's killing it tonight, so we'll get into that. But yeah,
I guess it was more of a fun fact. I guess something. It's good. It might be a little weird tonight.
I might be fun fact Chris. I don't know.
Chris
I don't
is
know yet.
Loose tonight, so we're very excited for this, but also get minutes. It's Mr. Mature, the lawn boss, Joey McCroskey. Get that, Joe.
Well, thank you for that new name, Titus. It's great to have you back. We missed you dearly last week.
Gone.
We tried to steer the ship, the two of us, and it's good to have some. It's good to have some structure back.
We did all right, but
you guys did
honestly,
good.
Titus, it's nice to have the tied together Titus man back with us.
Thank you, boys. I'm so glad, and also making a sound.
Touch.
Just the Titus touch, making us sound as delicious as stuff. We need a drop of that. It's Adam, the professional bronze. How are the levels tonight, Adam?
Spectacular.
Ooh, well, you know what? I can't tell if we have enough energy for tonight. I feel like I'm really low. Chris is making up for it all for the rest of us. This is great.
Yeah.
But we have basketball.
I'm here, boys.
Basketball is back, folks. Opening night last night. I wasn't super locked in, but I did catch some of the games this morning. I had to watch them this morning. Opening night for the Bulls was tonight, as you can see. If you can see on our stream, rocking my brand new Zach LaVine jersey. Shirt for Joey. So we are definitely excited to get back in. Bulls get a win tonight. Just barely surviving the Detroit Pistons. So we'll definitely get into that. But let's start off with those two games last night. Milwaukee over Brooklyn with the win, and Golden State beating LA. Either you guys want to start with any one particular game?
Yeah, I got this. Nets and Bucks.
Here we go.
For me right now.
Go.
I am shocked that the Bucks won 127-104. A 23-point victory. I understand, it's ring ceremony night. A lot of times I feel like on these ring ceremony nights, the team loses. I think the Lakers lost the previous year. I didn't do my stat research on this one, but I feel like that happened. And, Durant finished with 32 points, Harden with 20, and they still lost by 24 points, guys. Patty Mills off the bench, 21 points, 7 for 7 from 3. That dude did not miss. When he stroked it, it went in, and he looked good doing it. So other than those three guys, Nicholas Claxton, 12 points, 7 rebounds not off the bench. He played 24 minutes as a starter. It's kind of off the bench, 24 minutes. He's kind of the I understand why now they traded Jarrett Allen, because they knew they had this guy in Claxton coming off. And so it was a smart trade still for Harden. And I don't think anyone's saying otherwise. Harden. Right, yeah. No one's really saying otherwise. Aldridge, other thing, he got 1 point, three rebounds. I don't know what we're going to expect from LaMarcus Aldridge this year.
Yeah.
I'm not really expecting a whole lot. Question. And Blake, I didn't even mention Blake. That dude's nice to see on the court. 5 rebounds, 6 points. Whatever, man. The Bucks, dude, this is my overreaction for the season is the Bucks are going to be the 1 seed 100%. This team is in it to fucking win it back to back. Give me the duck sound. And the Giannis with 32, 14 rebounds, 7 assists. This guy, he's just there, man. Grayson Allen didn't even play well. 3 for 10 from 3. All of his shots were from 3. He got 10 points. Sorry, not all of them. He got a free throw, 1 for 1. 6. Anyways, this team, they're back, dude. I don't know, man. I might.
Yeah, they look good. They look good.
We'll see.
No, they ended up getting that win 127-104. Like Chris said, Giannis with 32, 14, and 7. Durant with 32, 11, and 4. Harden flirting with a triple-double, 20, 8, and 8. They look good. Joey, what was your thoughts on the Milwaukee Brooklyn game?
Yeah, I think Chris is spot on that they're a lock for the 1 seed.
Yep.
If you're going to march Blake Griffin out there and think that he has a chance to slow down Giannis in the paint, I just don't know how they adjust for that. Looking through their lineup, I don't see anybody on their team who's going to get in his way. And not to mention that Giannis was actually making jumpers last night. He was not just, he pounded it down low, but he also pulled up a handful of times, and his shot looked a lot cleaner than it had previously. He went 7 of 9 from the free throw line as well, which is not something we're accustomed to seeing from Giannis. So if he's going to keep doing that kind of business in these games, they're going to be a tough team to stop. Middleton had 20. Connaughton was long for the ride with 20 as well. I just don't see how the Nets are going to be able defensively to stop them. Now, they got some scoring from around their team, like Patty Mills, right? Dropped, like Chris said, dropped 21, 7 of 7 from 3. Joe Harris had a quiet night, so that's probably an area that they can improve on. But I just don't see how they're going to necessarily outscore a team like Milwaukee if the Bucks have a game like they did last night. And Giannis looks like he hasn't missed a beat. He looks like he actually got better over the offseason, which is scary to say. I think my overreaction might be that Giannis is going to be a lock for MVP.
Yeah, no. Hey, coming in later with our picks, but I think you mentioned in our group chat while you were watching the game, you said something about Giannis looks. Yeah, he looks like he's in like finals Giannis mode. He looked like he went to a different level over the offseason. I kind of agree with you guys with what you're saying. The free throws was really nice to see. It's almost like, because the last game of the finals is the one he went like 10 for 11 or something, right?
Yep.
It's almost like that unlocked him. Like him doing that in that game unlocked something where he's just not scared about it anymore. I think they mentioned in the broadcast that he only was taking 4 seconds to take his shots, his free throws. So if he's got those free throws down, if he kind of gets that jumper going a little bit, it's kind of what everybody's said about Giannis, is that he's potentially, he might be the best player in the league, might be lining up for that. We've talked about Durant, or, is Luka coming behind him or whatever. But yeah, it's looking like Giannis is going to be MVP Giannis again. It also looks like the Bucks are not going to be afraid of anybody, and that they're very cohesive. Go ahead, Chris.
I think the Stephen A. Smith, quote unquote, casual take is that Giannis is not the best player in the league because of his jump shot. This dude is everywhere on the court.
Yeah,
you can't deny him, and it's ridiculous watching him play against Kevin Durant in that game. He actually defended Kevin Durant for a stretch in that game, and he just locked him up. And Giannis, honestly, I echo Joey's thing here. Is he's kind of a lock for MVP. Like it's insane if he does not win it. I know Luka's got more favorable odds over him right now, but Giannis is probably the good bet to take. You never want to take the top odds. You always want to go somewhere underneath. Yeah. And Giannis is probably the guy to take.
I mean, if Giannis is averaging 30 a game and they're the number 1 seed, I don't see how you could not give him the MVP.
Yeah.
Especially I don't see a better story anywhere that's like a more surefire thing that you say, oh yeah, that's maybe if LeBron averaged like 40 a game, and they got the number 1 seed,
well, should we talk about LeBron now? It's
a good segue.
Good segue into the Lakers Golden State game. Golden State won 121-114. Steph Curry, what did he have?
21.
21.
He got a trip dub.
He got a triple double. Messed
nice
around and got a triple double against the king of triple doubles,
dude.
LeBron had 34, 11.
Which one,
5.
Russ or LeBron?
Russ,
Who are we talking about? Yeah,
Russ had a triple single.
Davis was 33, 11, and 2, and Westbrook, I did jot this down, was a -23.
That is correct.
That is fun.
His plus minus was -23. I'll steal this from you, Titus. I'm just gonna jump right into it.
Go ahead.
Westbrook also assist and turnover ratio was 4-4, which is, if you narrow it down, is a 1-to-1 ratio. Thank you for everyone out there, math. That's kind of his thing. If he has a plus 1-to-1, that's him, and it kind of sucks. It should be at least 3-to-1. I'm pretty sure it should be at least 3-to-1. It sucks, dude. Like seeing Russ, like, anyways, Russ. Regardless aside, I think after the game, LeBron told Russell, like, "Hey, go home, watch a funny movie. Don't take this too tough. You played a bad game. It's the first game of the season. It's fine." So I don't know how much of that is reporting, just saying that, or LeBron actually saying. I feel like LeBron would actually say that, and like Russ needs to get back and be like, "Yo, I played a shit game, and I need to figure something out," because that was kind of embarrassing. The one highlight from this game is Nemanja Bjelica. God, I can't pronounce that guy's name. 6 for 7, 15 points, plus 20. I think he led the game in plus minus this game. 11 rebounds, 4 assists. The guy was just everywhere. He was that guy for the Warriors where they're gonna have a lot of these. He was that guy kind of guys this year that just kind of like come out of nowhere, like Tasanko Anderson. We're gonna talk about him sometime this year. Otto Porter Jr. is on this team.
Talk about that guy.
He might come out. He might come out this year. I am talking about him now, but what I'm saying is at some point we're gonna be like, hey, this guy had a really good game, and it's so awesome. Like I actually like Toscano Anderson, and that's why.
I thought the Lakers looked pretty good early on, and they looked okay in the first quarter. They started to fizzle in that second and the third, and then Golden State really came on in the second half and kind of put them away and made the win kind of comfortable. Joey, did you get a chance to watch that game, and what did you think about that, man?
I did, and I just want to clarify, it's Bjelica is how you say his last name. Bjelica. Change it to a TSA. Bjelica. Yeah, so early on in that game, I almost sent it to the group message, and then I backed off because I felt like it was going to be a little too aggressive. But I was just watching and watching Steph had, I think it was like 3 turnovers back to back. Draymond had a few mixed in there, and I was just, the Lakers were kind of pulling away, and I thought, like, there's no way the Warriors are going to be good. Like, this is it. Like, they've run out of steam finally. Like Steph can't do it all himself. Draymond's not good enough anymore. Iguodala's a good pickup. Everybody's talking about this Jordan Poole kid. Well, we'll see what he does. And then all of a sudden, it was like the flip just switched after halftime, and that run they went on to close out the game in the fourth was just ridiculous. I mean, everybody's talking it's gonna be a pool party with the Splash Brothers when Clay is back, and that's starting to look more and more like a reality.
More like a pool party now with Poole.
There you go.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm looking at is like who has to go to the bench when Clay comes back. And
yeah.
That's a good problem to have. Maybe
it is
it's
a
probably
good problem
Wiggins.
It's probably Wiggins. It's
he got
probably
vaccinated, but anyways,
it's probably going to be Wiggins. But yeah, I was really low on them as it started. Got high as it went. On the Lakers side, anybody notice like second quarter, Anthony Davis just in the corner for like 2 possessions, just absolutely gassed. They brought it up on the broadcast that he was looking like he was exhausted, and there were 2 possessions where they ran their offense, and he was just literally in the corner on the 3-point line, hands on his knees, and he didn't take a step. They ran everything without him moving, and he was just gassed.
He played 38 minutes.
He did. This was early on, though. This was early. This was like second quarter. So, something to watch there. I know it's early in the season, so he's hoping he gets his legs underneath.
He's not 300 pounds like Zion. So,
and then the other thing was Melo. You can't have Melo come in with a -5, 9 points, get a turnover, got 2
That's what Melo's going to give you. Honestly, I'm going to be a hater on Melo most of the year. That's what he's going to give you, dude. Like, he's going to give you like 15 points and a -7. I feel like every night. I don't know, man. Sorry to cut you off there, Joey, but like,
back to you, Joey.
I'm not. Yeah. What's your take? What's your feeling on Melo?
Go ahead, Joey.
I just think for them to be competitive long term, they're going to have to get more out of him. Bazemore was looking good on the defensive end. I just don't know if he's a true offensive threat. And Westbrook, he looked good in terms of running their offense, which seems to be, a lot of slashing, a lot of cutting for LeBron, some ISO ball for Anthony Davis. But I just don't know if all these pieces are going to come together. I mean, you had LeBron with 34, Anthony Davis with 33, and you lost.
Yeah, I mean, and I know they look sharp.
It doesn't seem like a recipe that's going to work.
They're the team that, I'm actually okay with them kind of having a slower start. Westbrook sort of historically starts slow. I think he's going to be a very hard piece to fit in with those two guys. But at the end of the day, I think they're going to get to it and they're going to figure it out. So it's just the matter of, how long does it take and how big of a hole do they dig? Are some of the other Western teams just too good to overcome? As far as like Golden State, when Clay gets back, if Jamal Murray ever comes back for the Nuggets, what happens with that? There's a lot of questions in the air with those guys, but overall, for me at least, I wasn't super worried about the Lakers. I didn't love the Russell Westbrook start. Obviously, you'd hope he'd come out and play a little better, but he played like trash. And but Davis looked okay, and and LeBron looked like LeBron. So at the end of the day, I think they're gonna come out and be all right. So I think we can move on to our Bulls tonight, sneaking out a win. Let me pull that up. Where were they at? I don't have that there. All right, here we go. Anybody remember the score? I can't find it.
We got a 94-28 final here.
94-88.
94-88.
Want me to run through the stats for you?
94-88.
Yeah, go ahead. Pull up the stats, Joey. I don't know why I can't
94-88. Bulls win. Squeaked it out for sure. Levine had 34, 7 and 4. DeRozan 17, 7 rebounds, 2 assists. Vucevic had 15 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists. The ugly stat for him was that he went 7 of 21 from the field. Not a pretty shooting efficiency night for him. On the Pistons side, Jeremy Grant led them with 24 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists. That's pretty much it from them. Sadiq Bey had 13, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, and that's pretty much it. The rest of the team pretty much it was kind of spread out pretty equally there. It was a pretty good team game from the Pistons side.
Yeah, those two guys in particular, Jeremy Grant and Sadiq Bey, were kind of killing us for the most part. Zach kept us in it. You mentioned DeRozan kept us in it early, and then in that third quarter, kind of Zach took over there and brought us back. Definitely wasn't as fluid and as good as their preseason games were, but getting the win there, I think Stacey even talked about it in the broadcast, saying, "Hey, you got to get these ones because these are easy, and you got a test coming up on the 30th with the Jazz coming into town." So, a couple easier games lined up, and then that one. Chris, what'd you see tonight, man, in the Bulls game?
I am live. What I noticed a lot of was, I can't believe Levine got 34. When I looked at the box score later, I was like, oh, he was everywhere tonight. It was pretty cool. DeRozan, he didn't shoot a 3 for a while. It must have been until the fourth. He went north for
mid-range, man.
Mid-range king, dude. Like, love seeing that. Vucevic was fine defensively. He's fine. I don't know, man. I love seeing Patrick Williams out there, but the way the box score looks is kind of how you hope the season kind of goes. Maybe a little more assists from Lonzo Ball, but I saw a lot of Ayo Dosunmu tonight, and he played 11 minutes, 7 points. He hit a 3 at one point. He shot a 3 in the corner at one point that just looked ugly. But you need those. And Caruso, he only got 3 points. I saw the basket he got. It was beautiful. And he got 4 steals, 2 blocks, 5 fouls. This guy is all over the place. He is the new Bobby Portis for the Chicago Bulls. This man,
Bobby Portis.
He's the fan favorite by far.
Oh, yeah,
and he will be the fan favorite by like next week. To be honest, like it's so obvious. Alex Caruso is just so fantastic to watch play basketball. I'm excited for them. I'm a little weary of how close this game was. They did cover the spread. It was a 6 point. They won by 6. The spread was 5, so technically they covered. But like, Cade didn't play. Cade's on both my fantasy teams. A little frustrated with that, but that's fine. He'll play eventually. The Pistons got some guys, so I'm not too disappointed with how this game turned out, but this kind of went into what I thought was going to happen this year, where I'm not worried about the Bulls' defense. The Bulls have never been lower than 12th in a defensive rating with Billy Donovan, and I don't expect them lower than that this year with the additions they've made. So, but I am a little weary of the way they're going to gel. Their jelliness is what I wanted to say, and that's kind of a dumb thing to say. But anyways, with Levine and Vucevic, the pick and roll is still a work in progress. Levine's one of the most talented guys you can ever see, but like the way he doesn't know how to read like what another person is going to do. It feels like he just doesn't have that like effort that like a lot of people have. It feels like Kobe White just feel like he was gelling better with Vucevic than Levine.
You fucking serious?
Yeah, pick and roll wise, 100%.
Well, I think I'm not sure exactly what you're talking about, but on the defensive side, I know that you were saying that, and a lot of people have been saying that that's going to be an issue for them defensively. And the only thing that I saw, I don't think that that's as big an issue as people make it out to be, other than individual defenders, in particular Vooch and DeRozan. I don't think that those guys in particular are great one-on-one defenders. I think Vooch was getting picked on a little bit tonight. Other than that, Lonzo had his hands in passing lanes. Zach had his hands in passing lanes, and as a team, they look solid defensively. But I think the individual matchups are going to be an issue for them, and I'm not sure who their lockdown defender is just yet. I know it's still very early, but Jeremy Grant was torching them, and who's that guy that when somebody's going off that you're going to put on somebody, and I don't think they have that yet. Joey, what was your thoughts for some of the other points we've talked about?
Yeah, I think I'm fast in getting off the Patrick Williams train. I'm punching my ticket for the next stop, I think.
Okay.
I just don't see. I know it's one game, and maybe here's my overreaction for this little piece here is I was hoping to see him come out with a little more confidence, a little more excitement, and a little more swagger. It seems like he's still just kind of afraid to play the game. And I want to see him step up. I want him to be your number one lockdown defender. I think he can be. He's got the size. He's got the skills for it. He just needs to want to do it. I also want to touch on the Levine Vooch thing. I hear what you're saying, Chris. I think you're onto something with Levine not knowing how to run the pick and roll with Vooch. And maybe this isn't a Levine thing. This is more of a adjustment that Billy Donovan needs to make, and that Levine shouldn't be the one running the pick and roll with Vooch, and that it should be a Lonzo Vooch game, and Levine should be cutting
Kobe White
coming off of that. Dude, it's not even a thing anymore. There's no room for him on this team. It's not even going to happen when he's back. It's just he's done. Io's going to put him on the bench.
Io looked like, I'm not going to lie, Io did not look great.
You just said
I did
Io
not
was great.
No, I didn't. I said that he was 1 for 3, and the 3-pointer that he took looked like crap that I saw.
You saw a lot of Io and you liked it.
I liked his defense enough, but I don't.
He's
not the primary.
Okay. He looks young for sure. He definitely looks young for sure. And Kobe's gonna be off the bench coming off. That's the other thing too. Like when he comes back, he's coming off the bench. There's maybe potential for him to fit into that Io role, but Io and him are going to be battling for that second string point guard position. And I think you're right.
Oh yeah, they're really going to compete. You see Io the way he shoots at that guy.
No, well, they'll be the guys that'll be in that spot for it. I ultimately think Kobe's going to have that position, but as far as going in the pick and roll, I kind of agree with what you were saying there, Joey, where it did look a little awkward. And that's kind of something I wanted to bring up about the offense looking a little stagnant at times. It wasn't the fluid, offense we were seeing in the preseason games. I only watched the first 2 preseason games, and I was on vacation for the other 2, but I don't know if you guys saw anything different in the later 2. I know those last 2 games were a little closer, but I think that the Bulls offense is going to be a transition offense. When they got out and they were running, they looked really good. When they get into that half court set, it is a little stagnant. And in that third quarter, did it get into the shades of, Levine ball like last year when he took over, but that's what they needed at the time. But there was kind of some issues with the pick and roll offense. I know the second unit we talked about that looked good when DeRozan was kind of the focal point of that offense. You want to touch on more, Joey, what you were saying about
I think
pick and roll?
what I saw wrong for me was it almost seemed like they thought they had the matchup against Isaiah Stewart with Vooch and that he was just going to absolutely obliterate him in the paint, and that they were so gung-ho on that working at the beginning that they kept going for it. And to be fair, Vooch had a lot of point-blank shots, point-blank floaters, little layups, shots that he usually is pretty clutch on, and he was just not having a night. Obviously went 7-21, and at some point they needed to stop that and go away from it. I think they waited too long to do it. And by the time that they decided to make that change, it was time for somebody to take over. We saw DeMar in the second quarter with the second unit, keep him in there, getting into halftime, and then Levine came out in the third quarter and did what he does. I think we called it, Titus, you call it Levine ball. I don't think Vooch is going to have many 7 for 21 nights. So you should see a little bit better from there. I also think you got to see Lonzo be a little bit more aggressive. There were a couple open shots that Lonzo passed up. He was shooting the ball well. In spurts, he went 5 of 12. Again, I think he missed a lot of layups too, a lot of point blank shots. The whole team kind of did. So I think you get Lonzo coming out the gate being aggressive, and Vooch not going 7-21. You won't have to have Levine do Levine things. There's got to be some movement in that pick and roll. Whoever it is, I think you're right, Chris, that it can't be Vooch and Levine all the time. I'm not sure it's that because they can't gel. I just don't think it suits either of their games. Levine's got to be a slasher. He's got to be like almost Steph, kind of running off the ball. Steph can work a pick and roll, but be more of a runaround guy and get a shot and do his thing.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on that? I mean, what's big picture looking forward for the rest of the season for the Bulls? I mean, rocky first game. I think we all were wanting to see him play a little bit better, but overall, what are you guys thinking?
Yeah, rocky first game, but they've got a good little schedule here to start. They got the Pelicans on Friday night without Zion, so they need to take care of business there. They get the Pistons again on Saturday, so we're maybe going to see Cade Cunningham, but clearly the Pistons are going to have a little bit of excitement coming about them after they almost got this one. And then they got the Raptors on Monday. After that, then things get a little bit crazy with the Knicks, Jazz, Celtics, so on and so forth. So they've got some games here to open up the season that they should be able to win. So I'm hoping that they can get out, 4-1 at least to start. But based off tonight, I think where we kind of peg them middle of the Eastern Conference is kind of what they look like tonight. They clearly have the ability to win if they get all the pieces right, but they also have the ability if that, a few things don't go right, it can get ugly real fast.
Yeah, we got some work to do. Go ahead, Chris. I think you're muted.
Here I am. If they're 4-1, who are they losing to in these first 5?
I don't know. Pick the Knicks. Pick a game against the Raptors,
Knicks?
maybe. I mean, that they win 4 in a row and they
5-0. Give me 5-0 here. Like, this is an easy opening schedule. That's what I'm trying to say here. Like, Pelicans, come on,
that would be
300-pound
ideal.
Zion.
Well,
Pistons again at Chicago. Chicago should take that. Raptors look like I don't know about the Raptors. Give me the Bulls. Knicks, Bulls. That's a statement game. Give me the Bulls. 5-0.
Always possible, but I kind of with Joey that they might have, they're gonna have a brain fart and drop one of those games, and they almost dropped tonight. So, and
with
the
Jazz game 6, that's why I didn't want to mention.
Yeah. And the Jazz will be tough. That'll be the test. That'll be the one I'll be looking forward to.
They're going to go home for that one. They're not going to go Bear
to see how they're doing. All right, with that, we can kind of start rolling into some just around the league talk. So, a lot of NBA drama. I think the Simmons thing is probably what's been on everybody's mind, getting tossed out of practice. I actually have not heard too much about this. So, Joey, what do you know about Simmons getting tossed, man?
So the article that I saw or things that I read was normal practice going on. Doc asked him to come in for some defensive drills. Simmons said no. Doc said, come in for some defensive drills again. Simmons said no. Doc said, well, then it's probably better if you just head home. And Simmons dropped his ball on the court and just walked off and proceeded to go home. And after that, he said, yeah, they suspended him for tonight's game. And with that, he lost another $300 and something odd $1,000. I think the more telling sign was what Embiid said after the game, that him and Simmons haven't talked since he's been back at all. And he said, it's not my job to babysit him. So that relationship is gone. Everybody else has kind of towed the company line, I think, and kind of, hey, it is what it is. It's unfortunate, but, we're glad to have him back. Embiid seems to be saying, hey, I don't want him anywhere near me. It's my team. He doesn't want to play, and so be it. So I think there's a lot more friction there. I don't think he plays a game for the 76ers here.
Ooh.
I think he's done. I don't know how you can bring him back after that. Your actual star player just said, I haven't talked to the guy, and I'm not going to babysit him. You just going to throw him back in there, see how it works? I don't know.
Chris, what do you think about that whole thing?
Okay, so that's what I thought they would do, just throw him back in there, see how it works. But, to your point, Joey, they might not, why, Embiid's just hey, this is, trust the process. I am the process. And, I mean, tonight they're killing it against the Pelicans, 111-185 right now with 3 minutes left in the fourth. And, I don't know, man. This team is weird. I kind of you know what? All right, one thing I'll say about this is that I love Embiid's attitude about this, where this is how he should be reacting. It's hey, if you don't want to be here, don't be here. I'm going to go try to win some games. And, even with someone at the superstar level as Ben Simmons is, that's the best reaction. So that's all I'm going to say about it. And I really hope this gets resolved, because Ben Simmons is, I don't even know whose side to take at this point. Is it Ben Simmons or is it, I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's a weird situation. So
I just like how Embiid's handling it. That's all I'm going to say.
I actually don't like how Embiid's handling it. I mean, the thing is that, and it's a very weird situation, but because I was thinking about this too with him and the way him and Doc handled the end of the Atlanta series, and then kind of the way Embiid's been handling this series, or the beginning of the season now. I get it; it's probably super frustrating, but as far as what it looks like right now is that Simmons isn't going anywhere. And that's the realistic thing, is that where is the trade that's coming? And I don't think there's a trade coming. And if you're not going to move them and you're not going to incorporate them, what are you going to do? And you're just going to have a ton of drama on your team. It's, very similar to the Kyrie situation. I do like how Brooklyn handled that, where they just said, hey, look, dude, you have every right to sit out, but that's what you're going to do. You're going to sit out. We're not going to involve you. And I think that that's going to get toxic soon. We'll see what happens, because, if Brooklyn needs him, and, and for all the talk people were saying about, they don't really need Kyrie. They absolutely need Kyrie, and they're not going to beat Milwaukee without him. And it's going to be the same thing with Philly. It's not necessarily that they need Simmons, but they got to decide what they're doing with Simmons. If they're moving on from Simmons, they got to move him. If they're incorporating him, they got to all suck it up and go, hey, look, it's a rough patch. We're working it out. We're going to figure it out, and we're going to bring him in. But Embiid kind of putting himself out there like that makes it, a non reconcilable situation for Philly. And go ahead, Joe. You seem like you have some thoughts here, but
no, you're spot on. I mean, he played his card, right? He tried to hold out. He couldn't take losing the money, so he came back, and the Sixers said, all right, you're back. We'll give you a shot. Let's see if we can work this out. And he basically came back and said, I'm going to do the absolute bare minimum to get paid my paycheck. And anything outside of that, I'm not going to do. I'm going to show up to practice, but if you want me to actually work at practice, I'm not interested. And props to Doc for saying, yeah, that's not going to fly. You can go home. So it's, to me, I don't see how you reconcile the situation. You got to pick. And Chris, your question is right. Are you going to keep tolerating Simmons and alienate the rest of your team and Embiid? Or are you going to say, hey, listen, dude, it's not working. I'm just going to pay you to go away and let Embiid do his thing.
And that's tough, because they're going to get robbed if they do that. If they just move them to move them. And it seems like at this point that might be what they have to do. But, the trades that are out there, even the trades that were a month ago that were decent they don't move the needle for you, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So with that, I think there's any other. Let's go into overreactions. So we've only seen. I've only watched 3 games, so I don't know much about what the league yet. But any general reactions to this, I think this can lead into my overreaction is that the Sixers aren't going to do anything this year.
Mm-hmm.
This whole situation is going to lean over their heads, and it's going to blow up. And I'm looking forward to it because it makes a slot for the Bulls.
I'm going to make a ridiculous overreaction that I have no other standing behind. So just, the Lakers are going to be in the play-in tournament again. That's my extremely overreaction based on nothing other than just them,
just the first game
folding over in one game in like 6 minutes of a quarter. So it's based on nothing. But that's what we're doing, right? It's one game overreaction. So Lakers are a play-in team.
That's a great overreaction. I love that. My overreaction is the Washington Wizards beat the Toronto Raptors 98-83 at Toronto. By the way, Toronto's whole excuse last year is they played in Florida. Now they're in Toronto and they lost by 13 on opening night. Toronto's gonna be trash. I don't know how much of a reaction this is. I think a lot of Toronto fans are thinking Toronto's gonna be good. Toronto's gonna be trash. Like Precious Achiuwa, good luck. That dude's 6'8". He's not gonna be your center. This is a trash team.
I've definitely heard them like in the playoff conversation, and I don't think that's gonna happen. I'm just like, okay, I'm looking at the roster too. I know they got some guys. Siakam's good and all that stuff, but yeah, them I'm worried about. I'm worried about the Sixers, and I think we kind of all have this overreaction, but we talked about it a little bit in the beginning. I think the Bucks are going to run away with the East. I don't think it's going to be close. We'll see. We'll see what Brooklyn does, but those guys look real good.
Just the way you say that, Titus, makes it sound even like it might happen even more. Like they're just going to run away with it.
They're going to, dude. I mean, at least in the regular season, as far as what happens in the playoffs, that's going to be a question mark. And I still look at Brooklyn as a team that can win the finals, even without Kyrie. But I think to be the team that they want to be, they need Kyrie. But as far as the regular season goes, I think this is going to be a statement year for the Bucks, and they're going to go in with the number 1 seed. And who knows? I don't know if they can repeat. I think that Bucks Nets is again. It was the finals last year, and I think it's the finals this year. Those are the 2 best teams in the league, and it'll be very interesting to see where they go. I am curious to see what happens with Joey's Lakers if they end up in the play-in game. What that would be crazy if they end up in the play-in game.
It happened last year, 2 years in a row.
Wow,
mark it.
I wouldn't be surprised by it, but that would be like, did that really happen? And that would be like, to me, if that happened, it'd be like, all right, LeBron, it's over. It's over, man.
He's got to find a new super team.
He's not. No, I don't think
he's going to Brooklyn next.
I mean, like if he can't make
LeBron for Kyrie,
if he's not a top 4 seed with AD and Westbrook, he's not a piece of a super team, man. Like I don't know what.
It's true. It's not a super
what else
team
to
anymore.
do. It's like that's going to be nuts. So I'd be curious. I don't think it's going to happen. I think they're going to be a top 4 seed, but very curious. All right, boys. I think that's about it for us tonight.
I'm good.
All right. Well, that's it for us tonight. Join us next week to talk more NBA basketball. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch. Slide into those DMs at the Box Out Boys. Join us live Wednesdays at 8:30. Send us an email to theboxoutboys@gmail.com. And as always, like, subscribe wherever you're listening to this at now. We very much appreciate that. So for Chris, Joey, and Adam, I'm Titus. Until next time, Box Out. Audacity is stopped.
Audacity's done.
All right. Do we want to hang out? We're still live. I'm not going to shut it off just yet. Do we want to hang out and do picks?
Do we have anybody live?
We do have one person watching. So
who do we got?
Who's the one person watching? Like,
if you're watching, shout out, give us a comment. We might hang out.
Hey, Adam,
It'd be awesome.
I really screwed up the Audacity tonight, buddy.
Oh no! You recorded your mic, the wrong mic, didn't you?
I forgot to record, and then I started recording. and I marked so I started recording at the 27 and 43 second minute mark. So how does that work for you?
You started recording at the 27-minute mark.
27 43 seconds.
Hey, why don't we take us offline?
Yeah, we'll end the broadcast for tonight, and so join us next week. Hopefully, it's a little better.
Oh yeah, we're still live.
Hold on.